Hello out there. I just woke up in the mood to film today, and I should be getting so many packages. I'm so excited. Today I will get my collab box with it's coming from Amber Meeks from Ambazar's DIY. If I got her with Amber Meeks channel name wrong, I'll put it across the screen anyway. And as soon as it comes, I'm going to start filming it, but it isn't here yet, so I decided I was going to do this anyway. So today instead, since I'll need to look cute for my video with Amber, I have decided to do another like makeup get ready with me kind of thing. And I am going to talk about some tips for maturing skin. And I also just want to say I don't usually follow all these tips because I'm usually just in a hurry. But in case you ever want to have some knowledge about some things that would work better possibly than the way that you do it when you're in a hurry, I took even some notes that I wanted to say so that I could kind of refer back to them, because yeah, usually I absolutely just kind of go on, I apply my foundation with my hands and whatever. I'll even get a more full coverage makeup sometimes, just so I know that like I can smear it on real fast and it won't look full coverage on me because I'm using just a smaller amount of product and smearing it all over. None of these things are, correct or good. It's just, what I usually do. So, starting, if you have drier skin or are aging, or a dewy or luminizing primer is going to probably be better for you than a matte primer. I apply things with my fingers. I just make sure I have clean hands, and I do still think that the heat from your hands mixing with your face can make things sink in better. For your foundation, often as you get older, you're going to want a more sheer coverage makeup, maybe one that's water-based, or if it says dewy, because it will cake less into your fine lines and wrinkles. So right now, I am going to use this, what is it, Maybelline 220 Dewy and Smooth. It has a sunscreen of 18. I guess I should have said I've done all of my skincare with my peptides and serums and lotions and sunscreens. Whereas I usually would go in and just apply makeup. If you're wanting to do a better job, you can absolutely, which is helpful, use a beauty blender. Dampen it with a little water. I usually just keep this little thing from the Dollar Tree in here and a bottle of water in here that I just dump in a little bit every morning. It's usually like evaporated by the time. And if you press in your foundation, it helps smooth in your foundation, whereas sometimes your fingers can be a little bit more rough, really, and lift up your skin cells. Using the brush, which I also sometimes do, use like this foundation brush, will definitely go in there. If you have drier skin, it's going to kind of lift up your skin cells so you don't get that like as pressed into your skin look. So a damp beauty blender for maturing skin is the way to go if you were wanting to, actually kind of do a better job than your quick everyday kind of thing. Then, if you want to use under eye concealer, if you have dark circles, you will want to color correct before you're concealing. So I do get puffy eyes, which will sometimes give you an effect of dark circles, but I really don't have dark circles. I do have like a darker blue vein that kind of runs up. So that would be somewhere where I would sometimes, so they're usually like peach in color, and you could go in and use your sponge and color correct the blue vein or your dark circles. And this is something that you don't want to go in with too much product. You want a tiny little bit, and you can use it on a brush and just, I'm going to use the other end because I don't want to get, but just really really tiny little and dabble it in. Because you want to color correct before you do your concealing. Then for concealing, I also feel like if you use too much of this, it is just going to make your wrinkles look even more noticeable. The more sheer coverage you have in that area, the less is going to be better. So this is one that I'm trying to get rid of because it only has like this much left. So that's the one that I'm going to use today. It's a twist off, but so this is. And just dabble. If you feel like you have gotten too much, just wipe some of it off. Don't keep like shoving in more. Okay. Now, because I know what kind of eye look I'm going to do, I am going to use a bit of eye primer. This one that just came in the BoxyCharm, I've only used it one other time, but I felt like it is very sticky. So if you have a primer that you find is very sticky, know that it's going to work best for your shimmer shades. If you're using mattes or something that you are going to want to blend out a lot, these sticky primers don't lend themselves to that blending action as well. So I am going to just put it on my mobile lid down low. Again, you can use a brush for this. I am going to use just my finger, and I'm just putting it on my mobile lid where I know I'm going to use a bit of a shimmer shadow, not up past my eye socket where I'm going to want to be blending, and not even out here on the corner where I know I'm going to want to be doing blending. Okay, and then you will want to powder. This is something also for maturing skin. You don't want to over powder, or again, you're going to be getting like a more cakey look. And it's something also where if you're wanting to do it better, you're not going to use a huge brush. I certainly have this huge brush that I really like because most of the time I'm in a hurry and I don't care and I'm going to go everywhere. But to do it better, a smaller brush, so like this instead of this, into your powder, and then just hit it. Most of the time, you really only need it kind of in your T-zone and like under your eyes for the powder. You don't even have to powder on your cheeks. It is just going to give, again, more product to sit there, not sinking into your skin and having something that could like crease, and my kitty wants to be in it. Hi. Anyway, so just a little powder. The only other thing I want to say about that is you don't want to use creams after you powder. So if you were wanting to contour, you know, like with this type of contour, or use a blush, you know, like this kind of blush, you would want to do that before you went in and powdered. So then contouring. Contouring is also something I don't always do right, but I'm going to tell you what my beliefs are if I wanted to do it right with aging skin. So again, not a huge brush. Tap off so that it's not a huge amount of products. Building this up is going to be better. The way that young girls do it in this line that goes straight across here can actually make us look older, because it makes our cheeks then end up looking lower when we only do it like that. So we actually, as we age, want to give it a more rounded appearance around a faked apple and pulling it up. So a little more C-shaped for us older gals. The other thing when doing your foreheads, keeping it closer to your hairline is much better than getting it out here. We don't want this area to look receded back. We want that to come out. The other thing that I'm bad about doing, because I think I try to hide my jowls, but if I'm doing it more properly, you're going to want to go more under your jawline, not up onto your jawline. A little bit more there. But Stop, kitty. Yeah, well, get behind me. Under to hide the double chin. Not bringing it up on to here. Although, see, because I have these jowls that I like to hide, I really do. Can you hear me when I'm trying to talk under my breath about my jowls? I bring it up just a little, but really be careful with that because it really should go more under. Oh, this is just a Jane Iredale color. Okay. Then with blush. Which blush am I even going to use? Oh, I will use my Phase Zero one. Again, with a smaller brush. Is going to be more helpful than a great big brush because I keep saying this, but it's basically the theme. As we get older, we want everything to be drawn up. So when we were young, you maybe said, you know, smile, and wherever your apples are, that's where you want to put your blush. As we get older, because our face is dropping everywhere, we actually want to pull it up. So I'm not going to put blush down here. If I put blush down here, it is going to be a chance of getting it into, like, you know, these nasal marionette line things, and that's something you definitely don't want to be bringing attention to. So blush on older women should go up higher. And building is still always better than starting out and getting way that much. I need to stop using just you in the camera and use a little bit of the mirror because, ooh, in the camera I'm not seeing the blush as well, but my goodness, over here in my mirror I certainly see it. Holy moly, that needs to be blended out. Be careful when I'm blending it out though, or I'm going to get it too low or too high and take away the whole thing that I've just done. Okay. Same with highlighter. I've lost my fan brush that I prefer to use highlighter with, and I'm too cheap to get another one because I'm sure it's somewhere and I'm going to find it. But again, smaller brushes is better on this. By the way, all of this stuff, makeup is to play with. This is not what everybody needs to do. You could totally be going for a way different look than I want to achieve. And all of this stuff that I'm saying, you might think looks terrible, and therefore ignore it all. Yeah, I guess I just wanted to say that too. Makeup is to be played with, and there's no real strict rules about anything because some people, you know, again, Mimi from Drew Carey is what comes to mind. Some people love that look, and that's totally, like, you do you. I'm happy if you're happy like doing that. Yeah. Highlighter. As we age, we don't need to do this whole huge circle kind of thing. Tiny bit in a little baby triangle. And yeah, it can go like on top of the blush. You do not want to get your highlighter under your under eyes. Or again, this is going to be something that's going to draw attention to the area. So that's what you want on the top of your cheekbones. You don't want in the creases of your under eyes, if that makes sense. Okay, this one also is a Jane Iredale. It's called Crushed Ice. And I honestly get so nervous doing these videos for you that I forget things. So I've forgotten to talk about nose contouring. Here's what I feel about that. If you are just taking two dark lines straight down, that sets you up to almost make your nose look even wider. Contouring is to, you know, and highlighting to make things in one area look smaller and other area look bigger. Usually you don't need just the entire nose from here to here the same way. And if you put your two lines too far apart and create too much of a wide width area in the middle, it really will just make your nose look even wider. So my nose, because it's got this literal clown nose stuck on top of something that could have been a totally normal shaped nose, only then they stuck a ball on the end of it, I want to go underneath and on the sides of my ball. And with a tiny little brush. And then I'm going to want to blend that out a bit. Also, if you're going to use highlighter on your nose, most of the time people don't want to do it actually on their tip because they want their nose to look smaller and more upturned. So you actually kind of fake it and put the highlighter just a little bit higher up in your nose. And oh yes, also, I think it's totally fine idea too for people to do their eye makeup look completely 100% before any of their other makeup. It especially works good if you know you're going to be using a makeup palette that has a lot of fallout, because whereas right now I'm going to go in and do eye makeup and I am going to use a palette that I haven't really used much. I don't know how much fallout it's going to be, and then I'm going to have a lot more cleanup to do, which is totally, backwards of what you would want to do. So, okay, I got out my Hip Dot palette that I received in my giveaway winnings from Joy, who keeps you on your toes. It took me a second to remember. She just changed her name. So my eyes are getting droopy and more hooded. As you age, this happens. If you want to look like you have a deeper crease, you do not want to put anything light colored on that creased area, but you do want to put a light color on your mobile, moving lower lid so that that part can be seen and the hooded part gets moved out. However, you also usually don't want to get too super dark in there as you get older. So I am going to use this color called Maze. And again, tapping off because I've only used this once and I don't remember how much, exact fallout it has. Starting at about the middle of my socket and rounding and blending outward. It's another reason that I don't want to use too huge of a brush here, because you can't really get them super precise with what you're doing. But in the socket, rounding, blending out, which is a nice soft. I want to use a little darker color on the lower outer corner, and I want to bring it out just a bit past everything so that it gives a more elongated look to my eye area. I'm going to see how this color looks switching to the What's the Tea, and use this Hey Girl Hey color over here. And for this, I want to use a even smaller brush. So I have this one that's double-ended. I'm going to go in with this little guy. I like still the rounded idea, but I want it to be smaller because I don't want it to get everywhere. I just want it in this little corner. And I am worried about this color, actually. I'm probably definitely going to want to blend it out a bit more. But see how I've brought it out so that it elongates the look of that eye. Okay. This color is much more burgundy than I envisioned. I don't know why. It looks kind of burgundy in the pan, but okay. And again, so I've elongated that look. You don't have to get extreme. It doesn't need to be like clear down, here so that it looks like, why are you, painting your temples? But a bit of elongation. And I'm going to flip this one over and just buff and blend it a little. Okay. Then because I want my lower lid to actually pop a little so that you can see it, that's when you can go in with a little shimmer or a lighter color. And I'm going to do both. And I'm going to use Spill the Beans in this same What's the Tea palette. And this is the kind of thing, because I want more of it there, where I usually will end up going in with my finger. You can use packing brushes if you prefer that sort of thing. And put it on here, but I just normally find that using my finger has it show up a bit better. Then I'm going to take the Word on the Street color here, because it's also light, but I think it'll be a good transition color between this one and this one, and just put it kind of where the two areas meet up and blend by going puffy, puffy. But this works because it is a light color, so that it doesn't make my lower lid go away. It still makes it come out towards you. Lovely, lovely. Then it's very close, but slightly different. I'm going to go back into Hip Dot and use Wonderlust, which is here. So here is the two that you can see. And also Blindy Blindy, tap off and go just a smidgen higher. Because it's lighter than what I put in the crease, lighter than what I put on the edge, just giving it a smidgen of color. Then, because I do want to bring out the under eye area, under brow area, I will go in and put something lighter there too, but I'm going to do my brows first. Okay, I've decided to pull out this brow kit, which I honestly don't remember where it came from. I think it was probably like a Dollar General or something when they had this huge like 80% off sale, and it was probably like 70 cents. And what I do like about it is it has several different shades, because on days when I actually would want my brows to look better than most of the times, using a couple different shades in there will give it a better look. Most people have a natural ombre effect where it goes from lighter here and darker at the tips and at the edges. The other thing we want to do when we're older is make sure we do not pull our brows down any further than we want, because again, that is just going to make everything here, if this was down here, look like it's drooping and falling instead of giving the illusion of it coming up. So I like to wet a brush in the same thing that I have out from my Beauty Blender. I'm going to go with the middle color here and start in the middle of my brows. If you start in the front where you want it to be a little lighter naturally, sometimes they can just get too dark. So, and I want to concentrate on getting it higher, not lower. So middle of my brows, taking little kind of shorter strokes, filling that in. Middle of the brow, up high, shorter little strokes. What's still on this brush, then I like to take on the underside and make sure that this line is as straight, kind of going from the front to the arch as I possibly can. And then kind of flick up. And then I feel like I do need just to dip back in a bit. I want to brush them. Now I'm going to go back in with the lighter of the three colors so that I can fill in the front and not have that area look as harsh. But again, I ain't normally got time for all this. And I just use one color or just the pencil and go whoop. Okay. Okay, and again, my eyebrows are certainly not even on one side or the other, but as I've been doing this for years, I've made them a lot more even than what they actually normally are, because really this eyebrow wants to go and grow way down here. So I have to fake all of this. Okay, and then going in with a little brow defining gel to get them to stay in place, because my eyebrows want to be crazy people. Then like to take a light color. Sometimes even I have a wax stick that I'm not seeing right now. Hang on, I want to find it. Apparently I have more than one, because this isn't even the one that I knew that I had, remembered that I had, and it'll work fine. These you can actually take and kind of rub them off on a stiffer brush rather than take it under there, because I find that you do have more control, and I feel like I end up wasting less of it, because if I just sharpen that out each time so I have a really sharp edge, then I feel like I'm wasting a lot of it because it ends up in my trash can. But this kind of thing, just right underneath your brow bone. I need more. Or maybe this one just doesn't show up as much as the other one, and that's why I forgot about it and don't use it as much. And then I think I want to do just a smidgen of a sparkle up there also. I definitely don't want to get too much. I'm just going to do a dab. And blend out. Okay. And then eyeliner on maturing eyes. If we go too heavy with our eyeliner on the underneath, I almost want to show you how much it would drag my whole face down, but I'm not going to, because it'll be hard to take it off, and I should be getting a package that I want to, open. So I don't want to ruin my look. But a dark color eyeliner, heavy on the under eye, is definitely going to draw attention to this downward area. So as we get older, using a much lighter color than we could have when we were 20, and doing it a lot softer. Is better. Again, when I say better, I mean better for this look that I'm creating, not necessarily for you. So I am going to use, what am I going to use? I want to go into Stargazing palette, and it has one called Amber right over here. And I'm going to dip my brush into it. And again, I'm going to use this rounder, fluffier brush. And I am going to softly go around. You know what? I can already tell I did not clean that brush enough, and it has too much of the red from what I did on the corner there. And I don't want my under eye to have the redness. So, all right, cleaner brush. So it's softer instead of so harsh looking. And then mascara, I am going to want to get the full length of my lashes, not just the tips, not just putting my wand out and kind of fluttering my lashes onto it, but going in and kind of zigzag motioning, working it up and through, and if I feel like I need to hit the back of them even, hit the back of them. Okay, I've had to turn you a bit. But okay, if you have trouble with clumping, they make these little thingies or spoolies to brush through or drag through to help. And again, I like my heated lash curler. The when I turned you, you kind of got crooked probably. The more of the flat surface of your lashes that you can see, the longer that they appear. Most people's lashes just kind of naturally, they could be long, but if they're going out straight, you don't see this part of it. It's why lash lifts work so well. When you take like a little baby perm rod and stick them up there and then comb them out and use perm solution and flip them back. It's not exactly perm solution, but thought it would help. You get the idea. So one of these little guys, heated, turned up, count to 10, and they end up giving a much longer effect. Now I know that this isn't actually going to be a 48-minute video because I'm going to speed the crap out of most of it. So, but thanks for sticking with me if you have. And I'm going to do this and then talk about lips. So once again, I realized that I was nervous and trying to speed up because it was getting so long that I didn't even use a lash primer on my lashes before my mascara, but we're going to forget about that right now. I'm also not going to talk about like wing liner because we're so far in. I'm going to slightly hit on mouths and lips. So I know I'm a bit biased because I don't wear as much lipstick as what other people do. But part of the reason that I don't, because I definitely did when I was younger in my 20s, but our lips do get smaller as we age, and they have more lip lines, and I feel like with as small as my mouth is already, darker, brighter colors actually just kind of make them look even smaller. Tricks that do help if I wanted to do it, which I just usually don't, is overdrawing. Just slightly. You don't want to look like a clown, but most of the time you can see where your lip color doesn't quite meet where the edge of your lips actually do. So you could just slightly overdraw with a darker color. And I literally looked for lip liners, and the only one I could find was this one that I bought a while back at the Dollar Tree when I did a full face of makeup with Dollar Tree makeup. That's how much I don't do this. But a slightly darker color on the outside, and then doing a lighter color on the inside. Okay, a lighter color on the inside, and even do a pop right in the middle with some shine or even more lightness. It does give the illusion of lighter lips. This part I am going to do for you because lipstick is easy enough to pull out, but here I'm going to put on a darker shade of lipstick just so that you kind of get the idea of how the darker shades do make your mouth look smaller. Maybe this isn't as dark as I thought. Actually, this color isn't that dark. I would need probably a darker shade yet. Do I have one just sitting here? Let's see if this. Apparently I need to go find a different darker shade. Anyway, I don't like this color with my new eye look. There, I really didn't realize how few lipsticks I even had anymore. It took me a second to find some. Anyway, so here's a red. Still don't like it with my look, but just to give you the comparison of it making my lips look smaller instead of larger. Okay. I'm sure that there was so many other things that I wanted to add. If they are, maybe I'll add it on, or maybe I'll list them here. But my goodness, I've never had a video go this long, especially when it's just going to be a little quick filler video while I was waiting for my good stuff. I might have to cut that front part off about telling you about my good stuff I was waiting for. Okay, thanks for coming. Again, this isn't gospel. It's all over my teeth, which is another reason that I literally never wear lipstick. Seriously, every time. Just hopefully there were little tidbits that that you can find helpful. And that's all. This is my final look. My eyes, I think, definitely look more open and less hooded when I do follow rules that, you know, are meant to be broken. Okay, thanks. Bye. Oh, like and subscribe.